This is how service areas get dominated. Not knowing what you don't know can kill you, right? I always hear these over and over again with the clients that I work with, but also when I'm talking with prospects and other roofers and going through their pain points and challenges. So before you work with anybody, buyer beware. There's a lot of junk out there. People challenge me, challenge everybody, right? Be challenging. Before you hire anybody, it's questions that need to be asked. Like, how much of the ad spend is going to the ads and how much is going to your company? Are they using a third party app? People still use that. Why should you be paying a percentage on top of what you're already paying somebody to just do what? They're marking up your keywords or they're masking the words that they're buying because they're telling you that they're getting good leads, but the leads are crap and you know they're crap and they're trying to tell you that it's not. And you know better, right? Another reason why people do that with like third parties and hiding the budget and hiding the keywords and stuff like that is like shady people will actually cannibalize your own brand name. So if I'm Taglia Roofing and somebody types in Taglia Roofing organically and I'm going to pop up, there's companies out there that'll take your money for your AdWord campaign, buy your own name, and feed it back to you. They call that cannibalization. They're feeding you your own stuff, food that you would have had anyway, super shady stuff, right? So you got to watch out for that. Another thing is hijacking ad accounts. Use your own ad accounts, own your own accounts, own everything that you do. I'm a big proponent on that. You need to own your own stuff, your own marketing, your own accounts, your own everything. I just had a client recently that happened to, and it's a challenge to get around. It really is. And then are they installing call tracking? What kind of call tracking? Is it going inside of Google Ads? No tracking, no optimization. You have to separate different numbers for different aspects. Different phone number on your LSAs, then on your paid ads, then on your SEO. And then you can even break it down even further for the different campaigns inside of your paid. And then what kind of reporting are you do? I always tell people only get reports on things that you care about, that you have input on. My numbers are my numbers, but you have your idea of what success is. So my goal as a marketing person is to take what your goals are and mark them down for you so you can show, okay, these are the numbers you're trying to get. These are the KPIs you're trying to achieve. Let me build you a transparent system so you could see that. I always like to explain it like as if I were to die in a airplane crash and you had to tomorrow take over your marketing, would somebody be able to pick it up? And the answer should be yes. And you should always have that thought process as well. Like, am I so transparent and open that I can continue this on? And then what's your cost per lead, cost per acquisition, all that needs to be, reported on. And then is the company using their own landing pages? Is it going to your landing page? Who owns those landing pages? Are they good fit? What are they doing, right? Because you don't want everything going back to your homepage. Once again, you can't have all these different ads out there, all these different type ads, and then it goes to your homepage. I see this a lot on companies that do a huge ad spends and they're just sending it to the homepage and hoping that it converts. That's really not the way to do it. Split testing ads, you have to do this on a weekly, monthly basis, depending on the size of the ad campaigns. You can't just set it and forget it. Things are always changing. Google's always adding little tweaks, little buttons, little automated radio buttons to make you spend your money faster. Are they using ad extensions to dominate on the page to get more clicks? That's what we went through with the call extensions and location extensions and all those others. And then what are your targets? Getting the math right. Cost per lead, cost per acquisition, true ROI. Have it talk to your CRM and close that loop. And if they can't answer that clearly, don't work with them. If the spidey sense on the back of your neck is tingling, that's there for a reason. And then to summarize everything that we've talked about, to wrap this up, break down your campaigns and ad groups for your most profitable services. Start with that low hanging fruit. Build optimized landing pages if you don't already have the web pages that are optimized for this that match up with your campaigns. Conversion tracking, paid versus organic, you've got to know the difference. and then which keywords generate calls at what cost. Optimize towards what converts and what doesn't. That 5-to-1 rule is a pretty good rule. Depends on what market you're in. If you're making a profit, you're making a profit, but it has to be in your head, your decision, not somebody else's, right? And then each ad group, you have to run multiple ads and you got to improve in base performance upon your click-through rate and your score, your quality. And then KPI dashboard, you've got to be able to look at that anytime and then test it against Job Nimbus and make sure that closes the loop as well. If something's off in one CRM and it's not reporting in the other CRM, it could be just because it ends at a certain month and you put something in there and then it took a month or two or three. So then you just have to make adjustments on your reporting. And as always, full transparency. Make sure you own everything. And like I said, we don't dabble in this. We only market roofers. We only do one per area. Our worst roofing partner last year, we added $1 million and accounted for 70% of their business. So that's our big claim that we love saying because that's our worst results. And we're very excited and happy about that.